Uh-huh.
Okay. Well, everyone has a kind of difficult days this
Mhm.
time. What's this connected with? Don't you know? The period,
Uh,
Mercury, something like this,
no,
no? Yeah.
I don't
Okay.
know.
Well, you see, and in general, I'm also just quite fine, but I think I might be getting sick a little bit. That's why, sorry for my running nose, all right?
Mm-hmm.
Sorry for
Mm-hmm.
my running nose, and just, yeah, I have a kind of scratchy throat, and it's also not very convenient to talk. Lucky you, we have online lessons because viruses walk around us. Yeah?
Mm-hmm. Yes, yes, yes.
All
Mm-hmm.
right. Well, I see. What about your homework? I haven't got your reading practice test.
Oh,
Did you do?
yes. No, I didn't do it. Um, on weekends I will do and look
Okay, at the weekend.
at
Yes,
them.
completely.
Yes. Uh-huh.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and what about I asked you just to prepare a kind of piece of information, well, related to a podcast you have listened to intentionally. Well, did you learn anything new just from a podcast and something you would like to tell me about? Do
Mm,
you remember? No, you forgot. I see that you forgot about
yes.
about this.
Yeah. I listened a few podcasts, but there was about a trip of a podcaster to Australia. He told how he spent um, how had how he had spent days in Australia, what kind of activities um, he did, he had done, he had done. Um, yes, and he told about Sydney Opera Building.
Mhm.
It's a famous building. Uh, everyone, many people throughout the world know about this fantastic, strange building. Yes,
Mhm.
and that's all. What uh, I
Uh-huh.
remember. Mhm.
Okay.
What I can recall from that podcast
Mm-hmm.
is
Can you name any of your favorites? I mean, favorite podcasts. So, what do you usually listen to while walking, for example, to
mm,
work or back home?
uh, I listen to simple simple podcasts just for fun, and also I listen to Dr. Huberman, uh,
Mm.
his podcasts, and also some pediatric podcasts,
Mm. Mm-hmm.
American Pediatric Association's podcast. Yes,
Mm.
and
Okay, I see.
also one podcast, European podcast. It's a podcast of European Society of Pediatric Gastroenterologists. Yes,
Okay, I see. Medical ones, right? Mostly
yes,
the
yes.
medical ones.
But
Mm-hmm.
I listen to such podcasts with attention, and other short podcasts just for fun, just for
Mm-hmm.
listening to improving listening. Yes,
Mm-hmm.
and sometimes I
Mm-hmm.
listen to Oprah's podcast. Oprah,
Okay.
yes,
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember her surname. Uh, the famous American TV and TV ведущая,
TV
host,
presenter,
TV
as I
host.
remember, right?
Yes,
TV host or
yes,
TV
yes,
presenter? Mm-hmm.
yes, and influencer. Also, she makes a lot of charity work among her Afro-American people. He helps to Afro-American girls. He she doesn't have her own children, and as I listened, she helps a lot to other children. Yes.
Okay, nice, nice. Okay, good choice. Good choice. Have you ever listened to TEDx podcasts or TED
Yes.
Talks? Yes?
On
Yeah.
YouTube. Yes.
Okay.
I watched such videos on YouTube. As inspirational they are often. Yes.
Okay. What about
Just
thinking?
13,
Yeah.
15, just 13, 15 minutes.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
What about thinking in English? Thinking in a scientific channel, I guess. Yes, for example, about so they provide some tips and strategies how, for example, to learn English more efficiently. So and the um, special traits about our memory. For example, there are lots of scientific talks. You see,
Mm-hmm.
programs on this. Okay, also I can also recommend it to you. Thinking in
Mm-hmm.
English podcasts. Okay, Thinking in English.
Okay.
Also really good. Also really good. Well, okay. And don't forget, Asil, don't forget, as we agreed on, you have to not only listen, but to do it actively. Turn
Mm-hmm.
on the mode of the active listening. All right. Just
Thinking
try
in English. Yes.
thinking in English. Yes.
Uh-huh. Okay.
Thinking in English. Yeah, 26, 25-minute long. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
stories or programs, you see.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Mm-hmm. Okay.
yeah, and yes, active listening. I said, don't forget, please.
Listen,
Either
write,
you have to,
and
yes, you
retell.
have to either retell, yes, just firstly, take down the notes, yeah, just a kind of plan or just scheme, new words, some collocations,
Mm-hmm.
um, and after that, you have to retell it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Well,
Okay.
so, and as for your homework, I have checked your writing,
Mm-hmm.
and let's have a look. Well, well, okay, let's look at the results. First of all, task achievement, I say 7, good job.
Mm-hmm.
So the contents of your writing, okay, so it means whether you have answered the questions, yes, okay, and the band is 7 for this, okay. Coherence and cohesion, 7, also quite high.
Mm-hmm.
Lexical resource, 6.5, between 6.5 and 7, but I gave you 6.5, okay, just I chose the minimum, all right, because
Mm-hmm.
sometimes you still made some mistakes. We will have a look at them a second
Mm-hmm.
later. And grammar
Mm-hmm.
and accuracy, this is the area for concern, I think. Grammar range and accuracy. You see, now you have done some progress in your task achievement and coherence and cohesion, but what you have to focus on right now at the moment, okay, you have to tackle with your grammar mistakes, grammar range and accuracy mistakes. I said, okay, because I
Mm-hmm.
think um, you have all the okay, just chances and possibilities to do it better. You see, you are able to improve this score 6.5 up till 7.5. Okay, I'm sure you can. Okay, and you have to work on this. Well, and let's see. Oof, I'm sweating. Just I experience a kind of general weakness. You
Fatigue.
see? Okay. Yes, I'm sweating because, yeah, so something is happening in my organism. Yeah. Well,
Maybe
let's see.
virus.
Yes, I guess it's virus because my youngest son has the same symptoms. I guess it's a virus. Well, let's have a look at this. Overview is brilliant. I said the overview is brilliant, except for this thing. It could be seen that both lines of closures and openings experience unfortunately, I say lines can't experience fluctuations. You see, the trends can experience fluctuations. The data, the figures, but not the lines. You see, you are not talking about the lines, but about the trends, about the figures, about numbers. All right. Okay, this is the common mistake. Did you look through the presentation which I sent you? I mean, a common mistake, yes, fish, when not fish, but the number of eaten fish, okay? Well, the next one here, when you talk about the exceptions, uh, you have to use the phrase except
Except
for
for
2011, not except in, okay? За исключением, except for 2011, not in, all right? Or
except for
there can be also not just the date or period, except for, I don't know, except for something, okay? There can also be an object, okay?
a name
Except
of person except for Ben, for example. No.
Yes, yes, except for Ben, but in terms of graphs, okay, it's impossible to meet the names, all right, but except for the number of, for example, what? The number of hamburgers, okay, the number of hamburgers sent over the period, over the period of this and that, yeah, okay, yes. So I mean, there can be an object, not the period, yes, but the object as well. But anyway, there should be except for. Well, the next one, according to the provided information, okay, it's fine here. It's not the mistake. Okay, yes. Well, there were around 6,500 shops closings. I say plural form. Shops closings, right? Okay, grammar mistake. Which fluctuated again. I say 600 and 500 shops didn't fluctuate, but this figure fluctuated. You see the difference? Okay, and this figure fluctuated. Well, as soon as I said, be careful now. As soon as you use the phrase or the word fluctuate, it's better to apply the collocation between, okay, between the number and the number, between 6,000 and 7,000. You see, because you show the fluctuation between, okay, from to, fluctuation between or from to, but not by. Okay, that's the wrong phrase here. Okay. Next.
There was a rise by 500 and then a decrease by
But look,
500.
it's illogic. It's illogic. I said even in Russian. So translate, которая колебалась на 500. Да?
Нельзя, да?
Вы имеете в виду? Да, то есть it's illogic to say fluctuated by 500. We usually say fluctuated between, yes, or fluctuated from to, all right, but not by. So it's illogic.
Okay.
Yes, the next. Yeah. After that, and then these phrases are synonyms. These linking devices are the synonyms. That's why I said you have to use either after that or then. One of them, okay, but not both. Should follow each other. Well, then there was a rapid fall, not until, but to, fall to. I said because until, you see, it's a wrong word here. Again, fall to. Okay, rise up to, fall to. wrong preposition. Okay.
Mhm.
Again, grammar. And as soon as you tackle with a graph, bar chart, or pie chart, I said use approximations.
Mhm.
Nearly, around, approximately, but not the exact number. You see? Okay,
Yes, I
well,
see.
yes, so this is really important because when you deal with a line graph like here, you can't be sure that this is, for example, 5,000. You can't be sure. It's about 5,000 or 5,500, for example, yeah?
Mhm.
Well, the next one, last 2 years, grammar mistake. We don't
Mm.
say like this. Over the
Mm.
last, or over the past 2 years, over the last 2 years, over,
Mhm.
okay?
Mhm.
Again, a line remains steady. We aren't talking about the line, we're talking about the data, figure, about the number. That's why don't use the line when describing a graph. I see,
Mhm.
all right?
Mhm.
Okay. Aren't you falling asleep? You look really, really exhausted. Okay, but yeah.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
No, no,
Yeah.
I'm listening. I'm listening
Uh-huh. Okay, nice.
attentively.
Uh, okay, good. Steady at the number of 5,000. Okay, here I say what I advise you is to
Mhm.
either apply this phrase over the past 2 years, the data remains steady at the number of 5,000, or you can write the data remains steady at the number of 5,000 until the end of the period. Until
Mhm.
the end of the period. You see?
Mhm.
Okay, well, so either this, because if you use until the end of the period, you see, you vary the range of your sentence types.
Mhm.
Okay, not to repeat over the period or between the years, just you change the syntax,
Mhm.
right, of the sentence. And finally, the last paragraph. Okay, the biggest number of shop openings was is fine. I said was is fine. But if you, for example, if you wrote acute, okay, it would be better.
Cute.
Yes, acute. Nearly again, halved, because you're not sure whether nearly, okay, where exactly halved. So use approximations. Don't forget,
Mm.
don't forget. Okay, and here, yes, and here I have added the optional word significant. There was no significant change. There was no noticeable change, or there was a tiny change. Yes,
Mm.
tiny, for example, change. Yeah. So also you show the examiner that you know these words, that your vocabulary is quite rich, okay, and expanded. I say. It's
Mhm.
optional. If you write was no change, it's fine. But if you add this one, okay, it can give you a point for your lexical resource. You
Mhm.
see how it is
Mhm.
assessed. Well, okay, 171 words. Good job. And I'm really happy with the task achievement and coherence and cohesion because previously I said you didn't manage to do it effectively. I mean, to write the paragraphs and the overviews. Okay, efficiently. Well, and that's really appreciated. Well, here I have also just written some synonyms, I said, and collocations. For example, you can replace the word shop with store. Mhm,
Mhm. Mhm.
Number, amount, data, figure, also synonyms. Well, okay, here I have written a collocation, the trends experience fluctuations, not the lines. Okay.
Mhm.
Well, the next at the beginning, at the end of the period. So here you must be careful with the preposition.
It's.
At the
Mhm.
beginning, for example, of the period, it means the starting point of something. All right. Fluctuated between number and number. Yes, for example. And always use approximations. such as nearly, around, approximately, when dealing with line graphs. Line graphs, why I have identified line graphs and emphasized line graphs here, because mostly when you deal with pie charts and bar charts, you have exact numbers. For example, 40%, yes, 50%, 25%. But when you deal with a line graph, you have to check and you have to be careful, okay, with figures. All right, good. Any questions? I say, so grammar is something you have to work on right now. I mean, not right now, but at the moment when preparing for your for your IELTS exam. Okay. So because
Grammar,
you can
it doesn't mean grammar mistakes, only grammar mistakes, yes?
grammar mistakes and sentences, types of sentences you apply. You see structures of the sentences. All right. Well, and also punctuation. It means, for example, if you write, okay, here, turning. Of course, it's a simple mistake, but if sometimes students write lowercase letters in the beginning, for example, or names of the countries, of the cities, it's also a kind of a grammar range and accuracy mistake. Yes, well done. All right. Well, right now, I say today, the plan for today, we are to talk about process diagrams today. Process diagrams. To be honest, we are lagging behind slightly, I said, because as you remember, I have mentioned that we have to spend 5 hours preparing for the writing task 1. Okay. However, just today's the 5th session, but we still have, I mean, 5th session devoted to the writing task 1. However, we still haven't talked about maps, and our next session will be devoted to the last writing 1 type, which is about maps. Okay. Well, process diagrams for IELTS, and what is really challenging for students dealing with process diagrams is that mostly we have to write about something that we have never seen or never have heard of before. Yes. Okay. Just, and it's really
How
tricky.
water produces
Yes,
something like that.
yes, and just even in our first language, yes, we do not sometimes understand how this or that machine works, right? Or this or that process is held. Well, this is the most significant difficulty problem. Well, and what now, just follow the plan, I said, okay? Just be careful because later you will have your practice activity. First of all, you have to know that there are 2 types of processes. The first one is natural, the second one is man-made. Natural processes include such things like the life cycle or of a butterfly or frog, pregnancy process, the water cycle in the world, right? Or maybe how animals produce something. For example, cows produce milk. And yeah, and man-made processes include what? For example, how coffee,
Bricks.
beer, yes, bricks, yes, electricity, yes, are produced, yes, also different processes, and so they are man-made. Okay, with the participation. I mean, they are made with the participate. They are held and produced with the help of man's force, right? Okay, so. Well, this is the first thing you have to identify. Well, man-made or natural. For example, here you can see photosynthesis process.
Natural.
It's natural, right? Okay, here you can see the process of production
Man-made.
of nuclear. Yes, man-made, right? Well, then you have to of course, keep the structure in your head. So how your writing should be organized. Well, your writing consists of the introduction as usually. Okay, you have to paraphrase the question. Paraphrase the question. The next paragraph is the overview. Okay, as usually. Key features. We will focus on key features a second later. I say, well, okay, how to do the overview. In details, we'll talk about this later. The next, paragraph number 1. First part of the process. Try to describe the first part of the process. It means if there are, for example, 4, 6 stages, describe 2, 3 stages in this paragraph. Okay? Say what each stage does, what it produces, if any materials are added, and or discuss the relationship with the previous or subsequent stages, if possible, if you can do it, and if it's clearly described. Well, and paragraph number 2, you have to describe the second part of the process. Okay, the same algorithm. Say what each stage does, what it produces, materials which are added, and or discuss the relationship with the previous or subsequent stages. So this is, okay, the plan, the structure, okay, which should be assessed quite highly according to the coherence and cohesion criteria. I say, okay, this is very important for this criteria, as you know. Well, the next one. Paraphrasing a question, how to do it effectively. For example, the question is, number 1, the diagram below shows the process of photosynthesis. Active voice is used, right? The diagram below shows the process of photosynthesis. You can paraphrase it using the passive voice. The provided illustration, of course, using the synonyms, you know, right? The provided illustration demonstrates how plants produce energy from sunlight. I'm sorry, it's not passive voice, but it's just the changing of the structure of the sentence, right?
Explaining what is photosynthesis.
Yes, okay, good. Yes, so here you give the definition, right? Yes, of the process photosynthesis. And using the word how, right? How something happens. Relative clause. Okay. Now, well, and according to the electricity production, here the question says, the diagram below shows how electricity is produced in a nuclear power station. Well, passive voice is used here, right? And now again, we paraphrase it using how construction. The given illustration demonstrates the process of how nuclear power plants generate electricity. Well, okay, so you see, right? To do the overview successfully, to write your overviews in a successful manner, you have to answer some questions. I say these questions will help you to write the effective overview. The first one, is it a man-made or natural process? In terms of the photosynthesis, you are talking about a natural process. Could you please, I say, read the list of questions with their answers?
How many stages are there? 5. What is produced? Sugar, oxygen, and starch. Where does it start and where does it end? Starts with sun and ends with the production of sugar, oxygen, and starch. Is it cyclical or linear? Cyclical. Are any materials added? Sunlight, carbon dioxide, and water.
Yes, that's right. Good. Well, you have to keep these questions in your mind. Just memorize them by heart. Okay? Well, all of them, because they will help you. Now, in terms of the nuclear power generation, please, Asim.
Is it a man-made or natural process? Man-made? How many stages are there? Don't know, not very clear. What
Yes,
is
because
produced?
yeah, so something is really messy happens there. I mean, something really challenging happens there. Yeah. Well, and you cannot clearly identify how many stages are there. So that's why you can write some stages, okay,
Mhm.
without writing the exact
First,
number.
second, fifth. Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
What is produced? Electricity. Where does it start and where does it end? Starts with uranium fuel and ends with electricity being sent to the grid. Is it cyclical or linear? Linear. Are any materials added? Water and uranium.
Uranium, yes, uranium.
Uranium.
Well, look through these questions once again. Do you
Mhm.
clearly understand what they mean? Maybe you need some explanation on what you
Is
have
it
just read.
cyclical or linear? I
Yes,
understand what is cyclical
uh-huh.
and linear it is.
Linear means a stage by stage without repeating a step.
Um,
So, for example, brick production, a stage by stage, and then it happens from the starting point to the final one again. Okay,
mhm,
and it doesn't repeat, for example, nature as a natural process, for example, water
mhm,
cycle, right? Mm-hmm.
mhm.
All right, well, the next one, it's a
Initial.
really ah
No, no, no.
what
Uh-huh.
uh-huh well, and of course when you describe stages, yes, I said it's really important to use processes key vocabulary, because the
Mhm,
examiner will look for them. So
mhm,
he will
mhm,
follow, okay, next, afterwards, or initially
mhm,
after that, then finally following that. So he or she, the examiner, will follow, because it helps her or him to um, uh, identify whether you have described the stage in a proper way. And
mhm,
in general, okay, in general, it is assessed according to the task achievement criteria. Well,
mhm, mhm.
okay, well, please.
Initial stages at the start, first of all, in the first stage, middle stages, then the next step is secondly, thirdly, after that, next, from this, where, following that, subsequently, before that, final stages, finally, the final step is, the final stage is.
Mhm. Yes, well, this is how you can vary your vocabulary, your language. Yes?
Mhm.
Okay, well, so the next one. Well, active voice or passive voice? Active voice
Mhm.
or passive voice? Well, when you just wait a minute, I see I am to charge my laptop. Sorry.
Mhm.
Well, uh, well, what you also have to do before you start your
Mhm.
writing, doing your writing, is to identify what kind of voice should be applied.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
If you talk about, if you see there is the natural process, you have to apply active voice only. And
Mhm.
doing, if you are dealing with a man-made process, passive voice is used. Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Well, and here there are some examples. Well, you know that there are, here I have presented present simple passive, present simple active, and present perfect passive. Well, I think
Mhm.
this one is a little bit challenging for you, but okay, just we'll read some examples. Well, present simple passive, object plus to be plus past participle. For example, let's say read these sentences.
Waste is separated into its different types. Two separate cells are taken from two female sheep.
Mm-hmm.
I- uh, be plus verb 3.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Is
The
separated
next,
are taken.
uh-huh, are
Так,
taken, yes.
present simple active object plus verb. In a traditional hydroelectric power plant, river water rises behind a dam until it is sufficiently high enough to enter an intake pipe near the top. At the start, lake water passes through intake screens to remove any large pieces of waste that may block the pipe. Initially, the female moth deposits her eggs on a mulberry leaf.
Yes,
Uh,
deposits, right? Deposits,
just
yeah.
out
Uh-huh.
deposits, yes.
Deposits, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh. Just verb in present simple, yes. Uh,
Yes, yes, that's right. And as you can see here, we dealt with uh, m- uh, man-made processes, right? And here we are dealing with
natural.
natural processes. Yes, that's why
Mhm,
active voice is applied. Mm-hmm.
mhm.
And present
And
perfect
the
passive.
last is present perfect passive, object plus to be plus past participle. Once the milk has been transferred to a tanker, it is subsequently delivered to the dairy. Has been transferred.
Yes,
It's
because it's a present
man-made.
perfect,
Uh-huh.
man-made.
Someone,
Yes.
yes, someone
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
transferred uh-huh, to a
Mm-hmm.
tanker.
Mm-hmm.
It is subsequently delivered. Mhm. Is delivered also present.
But is delivered, I say, so well, has been transferred, present perfect passive, and is delivered, present simple
Present
passive.
simple. Mhm,
Well,
mhm.
but my question is, I say now, please attention. Why, why is it necessary to utilize the present perfect passive here? Why
Uh,
not just say is transferred to a tanker? So in general, what is the rule for the present perfect passive using? Do
we
you
don't.
remember?
Um, it doesn't matter who made it. Yes.
Uh, Now you're talking about the present simple passive in general, but what about present perfect? You see, has been transferred. Not just is transferred,
Before
but has been
before
transferred.
it
Uh-huh.
it was made before
Mm-hmm.
the next action. So we use
Yeah,
present perfect passive.
exactly. It means you emphasize that this action must be finished, right, before another action happens, right? Okay,
Mhm.
good, good. The next one.
When the milk has been delivered to the dairy, it is then put through a pasteurization process. Has been delivered uh, has been delivered present perfect passive and is
Mhm.
put present simple passive.
Yes, it means that before this action, unless this action is finished, another action
Mhm,
can't take place, right?
mhm,
Mm-hmm.
mhm.
Yeah, so
And the
this
last one.
stage should be finished. Yes, and the last one.
As soon as the milk and dairy products have been processed and packaged, they are
Mhm.
then sent out to supermarkets where they are stacked onto a shelf and ready for purchase. Have
Mhm.
been processed and packaged before sending out to supermarkets. So we use present perfect passive
Yes.
And in the second part, we use present simple passive, us and our,
Yes.
and
Mm-hmm.
are stacked.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay. These stages must be completed. Yes, so
Mhm,
it means we send ready products to supermarkets. Yes, okay, that's why present perfect passive is used, and it's really
mhm,
important. Okay, fine. Well, now I say we are going to look through the model answer. Okay,
mhm.
we are going to study the model answer, but just before that, could you please briefly, do you remember the questions I said? So try to analyze
Is it
this.
natural process or
Yeah,
man-made
how many
process? First
stages? Yes,
question.
is it
Yes.
linear? Yeah, okay. Please.
Mhm.
Everything. What
It
can you
is,
say about this?
it is natural process, so we use
Mhm.
um, active um,
Active voice, yes.
active voice, yes, and that first, second, four stages uh, here.
How many stages are there?
Так, сначала солнце на растение. Мгм. I guess
If
four
you
stages.
feel, I said, if you feel that
Uh-huh.
it's really challenging for you, because it takes
Mhm.
time, of course, to count. Maybe you don't understand, right?
Mhm.
It's not necessary to write how many exactly.
Uh,
You can say a few stages,
uh,
including, for example, yeah.
mhm. Mhm.
All right.
Mm.
What is the starting point? Just what does it start with?
Mm.
Mm-hmm. What happens?
Sun,
You were
sun,
talking.
sun, sun shines
And
and carbon dioxide
mm-hmm.
um, enters through the stomata, an opening in the leaf's epidermis and cuticle. Also, then параллельно,
Okay, in parallel. Uh-huh.
in parallel, water is absorbed through the roots
Mm-hmm.
and carried
Mm-hmm.
through the stem to the rest of the plant. The plant's roots replace water lost during trans- transpiration.
Mm-hmm.
Water, carbon dioxide, and sunlight combine in the leaf to make sugar.
Okay, so we can say that firstly, light energy and CO2 as well as water are absorbed. Yes, are
Mhm,
absorbed.
mhm,
Mm-hmm.
mhm.
And final stage, okay, what happens?
Um,
As you can see. Uh-huh.
Oxygen and water vapor exit the leaves through the stomata. Water loose from the
Mm-hmm.
leaves is called transpiration.
So simply saying, um, on the last
Leaves
stage,
produce uh-huh.
uh-huh,
In the
yes,
last stage, leaves
mm-hmm.
produce oxygen. Plant
Oxygen,
produces yes,
uh-huh,
plant produces oxygen, and
mm-hmm.
also excess sugar is stored
Mm-hmm.
as starch in the roots.
Yes, that's right. Do you know what starch means? I
Mm-mm,
say, have you heard
mm-mm.
this word?
Крахмал.
Well, exactly, yes, exactly. Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Well, good, good. Is it a linear or what kind of
Uh,
process is that?
Cyclical.
Mm-hmm. Cyclical, exactly, good. Well, the next one. Okay. And now I'm going to show you the sample answer. I said, okay?
Mhm, mhm.
Because it's really, really important to read it. Well,
Should I read? The
yeah,
provided
please.
illustration demonstrates how plants produce energy from sunlight. Photosynthesis is a natural linear process beginning with sunshine and carbon dioxide being absorbed and finishing with the production of sugar, oxygen, and starch. There are five main stages in this process, allowing plants to convert light energy to chemical energy in the form of sugar. First of all, chlorophyll chlorophyll
Feel.
allow,
Uh-huh.
uh, chlorophyll allows the plant to take in sunlight along the green spectrum, and carbon dioxide is absorbed through openings in their surface. At the same time, water is sucked up through the roots, and this is combined with carbon dioxide and the sun's rays to produce sugar that can be utilized by the plant for food. Next, the byproducts of this chemical reaction
Byproducts. Uh-huh.
byproducts of
Mm-hmm.
this chemical reaction are oxygen and water, which are extracted through transpiration. In this process, water evaporates from the leaves and oxygen is released. Finally, any extra sugar is deposited in the roots as starch.
Yes. Well, okay, I see. What do you think of it?
Mm,
Uh, Pay attention again. So, linear process beginning
mhm,
with, yes, uh,
mhm.
and finishing with.
Finishing.
Yes, remember these collocations because you can memorize them, for example, and when you, for example, start writing, you can
Mhm.
apply the same phrases, right?
Line
Beginning
of
with
process
something and
beginning
final,
with
yes,
finishing.
finishing with.
Mhm.
Okay, then there are
There are
five
five
main
main
stages,
stages.
or
Mhm.
you can write there are a few main stages if
Mhm.
you don't waste your time counting these stages.
Mhm.
Well, the next, okay, linking words. First of
First
all,
of
what
all,
happens? Mm-hmm.
at the same
And
time.
at the same time, good. And look at the structure, I said, of the sentence. Look at it. Chlorophyll allows the plant to take in sunlight along the green spectrum, and carbon dioxide is absorbed through openings in their surface.
Mhm.
Mhm. Well, the next. At the same time, water is sucked up through the roots, and this is, okay, I mean, here, water, not to repeat, this is combined with CO2 and the sun's rays to produce sugar that can be utilized, it means used, synonym, used by the plant for food. Next, okay,
Mhm.
uh,
Finally.
yes, the final stage. Okay, and finally here. Any extra sugar is deposited in the roots as starch. Well, as you can see, the first stage beginning with, so you describe these things in this paragraph, right? And finishing things, final things here. Okay,
Mhm.
so the description in general divided into two parts, including two, three stages here and two, three stages here. All right, as I have
Mhm.
said. Okay, well, so, and of course, look at the language. I say, look at the language. For example, what I've used is, uh, if you study it carefully, you won't find repetitions, any repetitions. And it means your language is really expanded. The range of your vocabulary is really working, is really efficient, and is really is on a high level. Okay. So byproducts, for example, it's a good word. Evaporates, you know, right? This word. Yes, that's right. Okay. Well, deposited also just, it's not only a financial term, but you can apply it when describing something, I mean, a natural process in terms of plants. Okay, good. Yes. And you see, it's used as a verb here, not only a noun. Yeah, is deposited. It's a passive voice. Okay. And now let's look at this. I say, please, now first of all, try to analyze it briefly on your own.
Man-made process, passive voice.
Good.
The given illustration provides data about production of a nuclear energy
Okay.
This is linear process, starting from
with
the process contains from 11 stages, starting
with, I said,
starting with steam generators. Starting with including
what happens here? Try to describe this process. Okay.
Starting from
steam pipes. So if we see steam generators and steam pipes, it means a steam production, right? Okay, here there is a steam production.
Starting from
what? Uranium fuel.
Starting with steam production with help of uranium fuel, and
okay,
and finishing by
with, I said finishing with, do you remember?
Finishing with providing electricity to different public facilities.
Okay. Okay, yes. Finishing with, how could you repeat please? Finishing with electricity
Providing
being provided.
Being provided to
different
public facilities.
Okay, public facilities. Yes. Okay, fine, good.
Houses, apartment houses. But I guess here not only houses, but other public buildings.
Two different public buildings, or just buildings, right? Just buildings. Okay.
Then first of all, yes. First of all, first of all, the process begins
with then
with steam
Or you may just
production.
describe, I say, what happens. Just
Uh,
what happens. First of all,
First of all,
uh-huh,
так, the steam generators at the steam pipes contain um, uranium, uranium
mm-hmm,
fuel,
mm-hmm.
uh, is
Heats,
used,
right? Or heats or is used to heat. Yes?
to heat
Mm-hmm,
steam generators and
mm-hmm,
through steam pipes they
mm-hmm.
they go to turbine.
Uh-huh. Um, well, and it goes to number 5, a turbine. Uh-huh.
Yes,
So,
turbine.
then,
After that, after that,
mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
after that, generator
mm-hmm,
mm, um, creates energy which goes to transformer where this energy um, is transformed
mm-hmm.
in electricity. Yes,
Is transformed into electricity. Yes.
into
But what happened?
into
Into
electricity.
electricity. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Number 5, it's a turbine, right? And
Yes.
it spins. It spins. Well, we may say that what?
Water.
The steam, the steam, right? Because as soon as steam pipes, okay, here
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
steam moves and uh, makes the turbine spin, right? It makes the
Mm-hmm.
turbine spin, okay,
Mm-hmm.
and then what happens?
Mm. Water.
Mm-hmm. And this power, it spins,
Mm-hmm.
right? Generator spins, and in turn, this power,
Mm-hmm.
well, um, this power, let's see,
Using water and uranium, yes, spin produces power,
mm-hmm,
which goes to generator,
generator, mm-hmm,
and after that,
mm-hmm,
it goes to transformer again, and transformer um, transforms
mm-hmm,
uh, power in
mm-hmm.
electricity.
Yes, that can be sent through a grid. Yes, that into electricity that can be sent through a grid. This is called yeah, the grid.
Grid,
Which can be sent through a grid. Yes,
grid.
GRID, through a
Uh-huh,
grid.
uh-huh. Can I
Okay.
ask us maybe stupid question?
Yeah.
Team
Yes. Yes.
team is team is par?
Yes. Steam
Uh-huh,
at the bar.
uh-huh. And there
Well,
was also spin is вращаться.
вращаться. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. This
Okay.
steam makes the generator spin, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Because here we see a kind of energy also. All
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
right. All right. Oof. Technical, right? Technical
It's
stuff. It's really
difficult.
challenging. It's really
Mm-hmm.
challenging. Mhm.
The
But
given illustration. Uh-huh.
please, I say. Uh-huh.
Read, yes?
Yes,
Should I
please
read?
read.
Okay.
Yes, please.
The given illustration demonstrates the process of how nuclear power plants generate electricity. Overall, this is a man-made linear process starting with the uranium fuel and water, creating steam, and which ends with electricity being sent to the grid. There are several stages, including steam production, turbines driving a generator, and a transformer creating electricity. First of all, heat is created by uranium fuel in the steam generator, and this synonym of steam, yes? Water
Mm-hmm.
vapor flows through
Mm-hmm.
pipes to a turbine. Next, the steam causes the turbine to spin and and in turn powers a generator, subsequently creating electricity. After that, electricity from the generator is transferred to a transformer where the electricity can be changed to a form that is ready to be sent to the grid to power houses and factories. Meanwhile, hot water makes its way to cooling tower, condenses, and then returns to the turbine or might flow into the cold water source. I don't tell about that part.
Yes, actually, yes, we haven't talked about this stage,
Uh-huh.
right? About
Uh-huh.
cooling process. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Well, but you see, what I'd like to say, Asil, is that it's not expected. Of course, the examiners know that we are not experts. We are
Uh-huh.
not experts, okay? So, and it doesn't mean we have to be, I mean, professionals and highly proficient in this or that sphere, but we have to use appropriate language, appropriate um, sentences, right? Different range of vocabulary and logically constructed. We have to do the logically constructed writing. You see, that is what we have to do. You
Mm-hmm.
see, well, of course, dealing with machines, dealing with man-made processes, especially like this engineering, yes, I guess, well, it's really difficult, but I say you have to train, you have to
Mm-hmm.
practice. So that's why I will send you two tasks. One of them is natural, okay,
Mm-hmm.
process is natural, and another one is man-made. Try to do your
Mm-hmm.
best, all right?
Mm-hmm.
And
Okay.
yeah, so well, in general, I said, do you have any questions except for the description, except of being an expert in this in describing such kind of technical things? Well, I mean, the techniques, the clues that I have given you
Mm-hmm. It
today,
is understandable.
do you
Mm-hmm.
it's understandable what a
Mm-hmm.
step-by-step techniques
Yes,
technique,
yes.
right? A step-by-step technique. So yes, it
Mm-hmm.
will save your time because time is our enemy
Mm-hmm.
when taking IELTS. You see? Well,
Mm-hmm.
I wish you good luck doing your practice test. Don't forget, I said two tasks. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
please your reading practice test.
Reading, yes. Mm-hmm.
Yes, reading practice test, and I will send you the speaking and the listening
Mm-hmm.
parts as well. So, two writings. Yeah, the speaking there and the listening task will be added.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Tomorrow
Okay.
is day off.
Tomorrow's there. Yeah, by the way.
Yes.
Okay. Have a good weekend. Okay. Don't forget
Uh-huh.
to prepare for your Monday lesson. Okay. We'll be
Yes, sure.
waiting for your home
Uh-huh.
assignment. See you. Goodbye. That's it.
Mm-hmm. See you. Thank you very much. Goodbye.
Goodbye.